Hey everybody, welcome back to episode what episode we on again?
9.
9. Ooh, we getting up
We
there.
are.
We almost in the double digits. Thank you for staying tapped in with us, y'all. We truly appreciate it. If you skipped a few and this is your first time here, welcome to We Got You to Say, an Everyday Vibe podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Amanda.
I'm your other host, Khalida or Kay.
And we're happy to be here with y'all.
We are. We definitely are.
I'm even more excited about the community that we're building, like the
Yeah.
community of just followers and people that are in our community, the conversations that are being had. That's what we wanted, y'all. We wanted the growth. We wanted the conversation. So we love that.
Great. And don't forget to have more access to us, more access to our podcast. Join our community. We have a free and paid community. The paid community is $50 a month. And there's a lot of things that you get in this paid community. You get one-on-one time with us, one-on-one time with our guests. You get to ask questions, just be exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be exclusive. So definitely tap in with the community. We would love to have you. Again, it's $50 a month. And we'll list some of the other things below so you guys can have a full description of what you get.
And so, as we talk about paid, we all like to get paid. And a lot of you have jobs or you're entrepreneurs or who really knows? We want to know though. So tell us where are the bags coming in at for you? We want to talk about where your financial status is, I guess we could say, or what your financial future looks like. That would have a lot to do with what your financial past looked like. Like, how were you brought up? Was there a conversation around finances? Did your family sit down and have family meetings at the table and discuss finances and budgeting? Were you that kid that was told you better not touch nothing in the stove because I can't afford nothing? Like, what it look like? That all really does shape and affect our mindset around money and how we deal with finances in the future. So that's what we're here to talk about today. How did your childhood and past, or how does that affect? How does that show up in, adulthood when we're supposed to be adults in every area of life and the money looking a little immature, baby.
Money. Me, man, got some. It's saying, like, been told walking to the store, it's your birthday? It's today your birthday? Oh, that was your birthday. That means you ain't getting shit. That means you don't ask for nothing. Today is not your birthday. It's not your day. It ain't about you. Serious note. My parents are young. So what about finances in my household wasn't something that we really did. And my grandmother, she was great with her finances. Not to say like she really had it, but I think my grandmother was a great budgeter. So she was always able to take care of the household and never have anything shut off or missing bills, nothing like that. So as far as that side, she was great. But also, I don't think she really saved anything. I don't think she really invested in anything. Because now in her 60 plus age, she's telling me like, hey, make sure your stuff is tight, but not having like insurance, life insurance on yourself. But she's like, invest your money. Make sure you have something left over because we all know that we ain't getting nothing. When we retire, there is nothing of Social Security left. Like they spending Social Security right. So after she's saying those things in the past, I didn't learn how to budget my money. I didn't learn like, have a bank account. I didn't really have that luxury. I had like a piggy bank, and several people in my family, they were pretty like well off. They had businesses, they had houses and stuff like that. But it was just never like a conversation like we're sitting down and it's like, okay, I'm about to show you like this is important to having a savings. We're gonna put $20 every time your parents get paid. Like, here's your allowance. Let's put some away. Like that was nothing there. So I developed different habits because I didn't have those conversations. Luckily, I can say now that based on the habits that I learned back in the day, they weren't treating me. They wasn't helping me. So I had to learn how to get better with my finances. So I basically had to teach myself what I needed to do to have control over it. And I remember right before I moved to California, I was kind of scared because I just felt like I wasn't financially ready to be here because it's very expensive. And I'm like, man, I don't have it together. And I live in Columbia, Missouri. Like, it's expensive to live here. But I'm about to go to like one of the most expensive places to live. And for that if you don't have your finances together, you could be homeless easy.
Yeah.
So I told my grandmother, I said, Granny, I'm nervous because I want to make sure my finances are together. And she said to me, if financial literacy is important to you, don't worry, you're gonna get it together. 6 years later, me being here, got it together. I'm still here.
Exactly. What's
Little statements, you know what I'm saying? Investment, you know what I'm saying? I'm learning. So and God at the time, she was in her later years, and she understood how important it was. And she uplifted me by telling me to do those.
Big facts. And that's a blessing in disguise for sure. Because yeah, some people don't know, and especially for situations like that, coming to new states or embarking on new endeavors where you are going after something that you want, or it's a dream, or, maybe you just heard all the greatness and all the opportunities that were somewhere else. And so you decide you want to pick up and move, but you don't have a plan, or you don't have a nest egg, or you don't really know how to budget or how to make sure that you survive. That's huge. Really, financial literacy is just as important as if you decided to sign up for Naked and Afraid and you don't got no survival skills. Like, what? It's the same thing. You have to have some type of foundation. And I think there is a huge lack of it in families. I know my family, we didn't have conversations about finances, right? I know that my dad, to me, my dad was like the one who had all the money, right? I don't know exactly what his financial state was, but he had all the money. But then I also look at the ways that he had all the money. Like, he worked 2 jobs all his life and basically slaved away working for other people to have money and to provide to, give everybody what he never had. Right. And so that's not necessarily the way to go. And then my mom, she worked, but she had a back injury. So she had back surgery, was placed on disability and whatnot. She hasn't worked in years. And so there was never really conversations about money in my household. Like, we just either had it, or I knew that there were times when we were struggling a little bit more, but there was never a conversation around it. Same thing with the rest of my family members. I've never heard any of them talk about money. I know that I have a couple relatives who had the well-off jobs, and so they moved up to the richer parts of town and they have the houses and whatnot, while the rest of us are in another part of town. Even then, it's just okay, they're well off, but there's never been a conversation around what was done, how they did it. But I will say that my family from the beginning has always been smart and had their ducks in a row and had coverage. Every single person in my family has had life insurance since a week old, even me, because my grandparents took life insurance out on me when I was literally 0 days old. We always knew the importance of protection and having life insurance, and knowing that it's not just all based off of the money you make, and, having a 401k and all that. So I will say that that's a blessing that I did have the wherewithal to know that and be around that. But yeah, there's just never been the real conversation. And I think a lot of people need a conversation, and they need to see it. It needs to be laid out, because that's great if you have some of the back end stuff done. But then when you're an adult and you get out on your own, how do you know which way to go when you've never seen it? You don't know about budgeting. You don't know about having your different accounts. You don't know which ones are helping you, which ones aren't. You just out here.
Yeah.
We just out in the deep.
Kind of like you said, starting early. I remember mom's older sister, she had a bank account for my cousin. And she would literally, when she would get paid, she would also have coins. She would get the coins from the bank and stuff, and $2 bills and stuff like that. And she would sometimes put them in her bank, her little piggy bank. But then at the end of the month or whenever, they will go to the coin machine and put it all in, and they will go to the bank and deposit whatever the cash was. I don't know how long she kept that bank account for her. I'm assuming she kept it for her, but I really never asked her more about that. But I was, that's so dope. My mom, she was a working class person. My dad was a working person, and they were young. They were literally just trying to survive, and no one was really thinking about savings. And if you don't have it, how are you gonna save it? I'm saying you can't really even afford to pay your bills, so there's not gonna be any like, extra over. So there was just nothing that I seen, and it wasn't until I was 16 until I got my first job that my grandmother took me to the bank and she co-signed on my bank account because when you work a job, you need a bank account to put your money in. You can't just go to a check cashing place to cash your check, which a lot of people do.
They
Because
do.
another thing about talking about finances, like they see their mother go to the check cashing place to cash a check because she doesn't have a bank account. For whatever reason, it could be a lot of reasons why she don't have a bank account, and we won't even get into those reasons. But you see them going to the check cashing place or the station or the grocery store, like that's a lot of money to cash a check. You're taking $5, $10 out of your check that you made just so you can get your money. And a lot of people still use those money methods, but that's not a great way to manage your money because you're losing money just to get money. That's how you're supposed to get your money. Have your ducks in a row so you can have a bank account. Okay. Just get it together so you can have a bank account. And nowadays, luckily, thank God for time and stuff that makes it easier for you to have a bank. Instead of using these more national federal banks, you can actually use Chime, just like online banking. But yeah, like I was just those little things made a major difference in my life. But no one ever really educated me on like money management with that bank account. Like I remember the first time I cashed my check and I went shopping. Bruh, my shit was overdraft. Like I'm just swiping that mug, you know what I'm saying? So I think it was probably like maybe a week later. I'm like just swiping. I'm like, oh, when I'm seeing it. And then at the time, I don't think it wasn't really like techie, so you couldn't really tell if your account was in a negative.
There wasn't no overdraft protection to
Yeah.
stop your car when you wasn't really
No,
out, but
it
it
was
didn't show you was out. Yeah.
and it wasn't like how you can see now where like kind of money moves. Yeah. So it comes out really quickly. And I couldn't, so I was like trying to use my card one day and I'm like looking at my bank account. I'm like, but it says the money is here. I go to the bank and I'm like asking them questions. They're like, your account is overdraft. And I'm like, overdraft. No, 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 no. It ain't. I'm like, no, it's not. But the money that I was seeing was saying negative $150. Like, not $150 there. It's negative 150. So I'm like, well, dang, like, okay. So just things like that, like when you talk to your kids or whoever about managing money, managing a bank account, managing savings, that debit card, like that plastic, boy, I tell you, it ain't cash. You ain't just see the first thing out of your hand. Thinking, I got it and I ain't got nothing. $0. I'm $150 negative. A 17-year-old that just got a job. I'm thinking I'm balling, which I was. I ain't even gonna lie, I'm getting paid. But I had to learn how to manage my cell phone bill, whatever expenses that I wanted to buy, and then also budgeting transportation. You know what I'm saying? So all these things that I had to learn, but never one time did my mom ever sit down with me and say, okay, now you have a bank account, now you have a job. This is what we need to do. I know a lot of people's parents actually did that. A lot of people's parents, oh, I don't cash my check. My mom took my check. She let me know what I should do with it, and then she put some away.
Yep.
I would have been so grateful for that. And I probably would have started working at 17. How come my first 401k wasn't until my third job, my third or fourth job? I'm like, I know what it is, but I don't. Nobody's ever like walked me through that process. I literally had the same job I was in college for 5 years. Why didn't nobody tell me to set up a 401k with that job? Why didn't nobody tell me to set up a 401k with the job I had? We put the same kind of job, but I could have been had a 401k since I was 17. I didn't get one until I was 25. That's crazy. Now, like I preach 401k, you know what I'm saying? Like I preach a lot of the things that I did not know. Life insurance, did not know. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, oh, I'm sure my parents got life insurance. They let it laugh, you know what I'm saying? But when you get older and you start having control over money management, you start to do things different. You start to sing a different.
No, absolutely. And Yeah, people just don't know. They don't have the education. Families don't talk about it. And like, I mean, I don't know too. I wonder sometimes do adults just think that maybe kids are too young to understand it or to grasp it.
Yeah.
But I think they need to also realize that like it's not being taught in schools. It's not being taught in any level of school.
Yeah.
Like truly, I think now maybe colleges offer like a finance class,
Mhm.
but it's still not the type of finance that really teaches you how to like go out here and get it. It's the finance that still teaches you how to run on the treadmill of life and work for corporate. You know what I'm saying? There's just so many other ways now to make money, to make sure that you're keeping your money, to reinvest your money. And so they're not teaching that in school. So it really is up to parents. And I don't fault them because especially like parents of like my generation and whatnot, you don't know what you don't know, you know? And so they knew enough to be protected. They knew enough to like start smart and have like proper policies and whatnot and make sure that they stayed into effect. But like, you just don't know what you don't know. I remember so I also have a credit union for a bank. A lot of people don't bank with credit unions either. Credit unions are low key, like, they're like a cheat code, bro. Like, everybody should low key bank with a credit union. So credit union, I've had a credit union account since like it was open for me on my behalf and had like money and whatnot in it. But I've also had a CD. And like, as we got older and like we started to realize that like CDs weren't really the move, like then we moved that money and, you know, did other things with it. But it's like, you know, people do the best that they can with what they know. What they're being told is like the smart thing, but it's not until you do like a deep dive and really start to have the right conversation with the right people that you know what's best. So you don't always know what's best for your family, but yeah, at our age, like our generation, I feel like we struggle with the fact that everybody wants money and they want it quick, but they have no idea what to do with it. Like they have no idea how to reinvest it. They have, like you just said about like a 401k. A lot of times people get jobs just to get a job. Like I just want a job because I just want money. They're not even considering like, does this job have a 401k plan? Does it offer benefits? Like these are things that you need to know because you may, okay. So I'm gonna say this loosely because the generation and the millennials and whatever we have, the workers of today are not the workers of yesterday. The workers of today will start on Monday and quit by Saturday because they didn't like that they had to work till 8 on Thursday. So I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna like stick with them and just say they're like, but you don't know if you get a job and if you were a worker of yesterday, 9 times out of 10, you would get that job and maybe you thought that it was going to be a part-time. You thought it was going to be minimal. You blink and you could be there for 8 years. And you're telling me that like you stayed there for 8 years, but like you never considered all the other options. That's a problem. So those are things that you have to really be aware of and think about when, you know, you're thinking about your money because at the end of the day, you're working for money, but you're also working for other people and you're making them money. So why can't you make yourself money? Like 401ks. Exactly. And 401ks, I feel like are the biggest policies or not policies, but like are the biggest plans that people leave on the table. They will leave a job and they will forget all about their 401k. And next thing you know, that thing is dwindled down to nothing. They don't move it and put it someplace else where it can continue to make them money. Granted, they don't really know what to do with it. You know, all they probably know is that a 401k is retirement. And that means that I can't touch it until I'm 55 and a half. And if I touch it before, then I'm taxed. So whatever, I'm gonna just forget about it. And they literally forget about it. But like, no, you can move it. So it's really just knowing what your options are. But maybe people don't feel like they have options. Maybe people just feel like it's back against the wall. And so they just run the race. And that's not fair. And it does. It starts with our past because we don't know. Like we're not taught, but we're also not necessarily seeking the information either because we're just seeking the money quick.
Yeah. Seeking the so it's not something that's gonna be on the top of your head because are you really thinking it's like I need a job to pay my bills to survive, you know, pay my rent, pay whatever, and feed my kids. And so you know, not wanting a 401k or not wanting to invest in life insurance through your job or whatever, a lot of people see that as it's not an investment because their money is being taken out. They feel like they need every single dollar to take care of their families. But honestly, I mean, you can make it work, especially if this money is going to help you in the future. You know, you have to really plan for the future because if you don't, then that's out.
And you're not helping your family. Everything that you just worked to do when you thought you were helping your family, you're not helping your family. Because if something happens to you, whether it's God forbid on that job or anywhere else, like your family is not helped if there was nothing that can be left to them.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, yeah, it may take some money out of your check, but also a rule of thumb, if you're going to like put into your 401k, if you have a company that matches, don't ever put more than your company matches.
Yeah.
A lot of times I know people want to put extra money in there because they want it to grow quicker. Because again, like you might not know all the ins and outs of it. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'm putting money somewhere where it can grow quicker and like it'd be bigger and whatnot. Cool. Like let me put in 9%, but my company's only going to match 5%. Don't do that. Like put your 5% in and keep it pushing. That extra, since you've got an extra 4%, like if that's how your budget is set up, we like that. Put that extra 4% in a different account that has a higher interest rate, not your regular bank account, because your regular bank accounts are making you 0.01% on your money, which is nothing. Find you the proper account or policy, because y'all really need to know that like life insurance is the cheat code. Put that's an investment. Like life insurance is not just life insurance. It's investment. It's a cheat code. So put that, if you put that money somewhere else where it can grow quicker and at a higher rate, put the 4% somewhere else. Like absolutely do that. And I'm not against piggy banks. I definitely think that like, you know, sometimes we have to, not even sometimes, you absolutely need to keep some of your money liquid because that's just, you know, that's just what it is. Number one, if you're a person that's not paying attention to your account and you're swiping your card left and right, when you're negative, where are you going to get money? You're going to be scrambling for your negative $150 balance. And hopefully you have a piggy bank that has that because look, you have to make up the difference. So yeah, you need to keep some of your money liquid. So I'm not against a piggy bank, but you just have to be able to have multiple avenues of saving and literally don't make people, because I think too, like, you know, a lot of times the older generations too, they hear the like pay yourself first or like give yourself 10%, right? And like, that's fine, but like not everybody has 10% to give themselves and then still pay everything else. So no matter where you're at, you find the amount that works for you and put that percent to yourself. Like pay that to yourself until you make it to where you're trying to get to. And as you grow, as careers change, whatever the case may be, then start to increase it. But like, don't let that get you down that you can't do 10%. So you do nothing. Doing nothing is worse than like just doing something, because something will add up to something.
Yeah. Oh, neither one of us are married. Finances and spouses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people let their spouses take care of bills, the household, whatever. So a lot of people don't really know what's going on with their finances. And we all know that most marriages, relationships, whatever, break up because those conversations don't happen. So, you know, I know I'm not in this realm, you know, but I just say, like, let's open it up. Let's have the conversation. You don't have to be afraid to ask where this bill coming from, how we paying for this,
Right.
what this look like. I mean, it's not really just opening up your paycheck to your spouse and saying like, this is what I make. It's literally saying this is how much the bills are. So if you at home all day, you leaving the lights on, you at home all day, you running the AC, you know what I'm saying? You gotta really be mindful of what you're doing to accumulate those bills and have the conversation about it. I know my I always say, touch my heat, don't touch my thermostat. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, just thinking like, girl, she don't want me to touch it because she don't want me to break it. Now that I'm a grown up, I'm a little, they're like, I'm like, oh, she don't want me to touch that thermostat because it changes a bill, you know? So I get that now, but like that just really brings it back to, we have to have conversations with our kids, with our moms, with our dad, with our significant others about money. And it's okay. It don't have to be a hard conversation. You know, it don't have to be like, oh, I'm in trouble or oh, we in trouble. No, like, are we good? Are we safe? Is our family free, financially free to do vacations and whatnot, whatever you want to do? You know, some of people just be going out here like, oh, I'm gonna just take this whole check and I'm about to just blow it. Why? Why are you gonna do? Why you just gonna blow this whole check? You know, why can't you just literally take this whole check and save it? Why can't you just take this whole check and invest it? Like, let's think differently about those things.
Hey, let's play around the trivia real quick. If you had to take a guess, what would you say is the top factor of stress in most people's life today? Did you answer money or finances? I'd have to agree. My name is Amanda Johnson, and I'm a financial professional who sees the chaos and fallout of financial stress on families and individuals every single day. You don't have to be one of them. You don't have to be there, and life is not meant to be lived that way. I invite you to connect with me and have a conversation about where you're at financially and where you're trying to go. It's completely free to have a conversation and get information that could change the trajectory of your future. Are you willing to bet on you? Click the link in my bio and join me on my mission to change the lives of financial literacy. Let's go. And people need to like separate their accounts too. Like that's the biggest thing. Like separate your accounts. Too many times, like all bulk money just goes into one account and like then it's being spent on bills and this and that. And like you really don't even fully know where it's being distributed to. Like you got to separate your accounts so that way you can keep the accountability in each account of like where things are going. Is it being handled? And like you said, finances is the biggest cause of stress. So mental health, of breakups, everything. Like finances really runs a lot of people's lives. And like, and it's not in a healthy way either. That's like the sad part. Like it's not in a healthy way. And it's because we're not having the conversations. We didn't know better. And I think it's a little hard too, because now that like the newer and the younger generation, for the times that they are really looking and seeking to do better, to know more and whatnot, they start to forge their own paths and do what they have to do. But then it's the older generation that comes back and starts trying to give them all these like older, rules and mindsets and methods that like served them back in that day, but they're not serving us now. And honestly, they weren't serving you back then either, but you didn't know no better. So like at this point, let me school you and like put your ego and pride aside and like, listen up. Let's all do better. Yeah, absolutely. Cause the biggest one too used to be like, oh, everybody like stay away from credit cards. Like credit cards are the devil. And not saying that credit cards aren't a trap, because sometimes people misuse and abuse them. And yes, it ends up being a rabbit hole for you. But like, you need credit. Like, you really need credit to get somewhere in life. Like, without a cosigner and everything else, like you need credit. So if a simple credit card is where you're going to start, you got to start somewhere. And so, yeah, sometimes it's just a lot of bad advice, and that's where people go astray. That's
talking about bad advice. I can tell you the worst advice that we all got tricked into. Got told, oh, look, nothing. Student loans are nothing. I ain't never paid my student loans back. I'm planning on it. Who got taught that? Exactly. I know I did. Did you, Amanda? Did your teachers tell you don't worry about your financial way? Your student loan? Don't worry about student loan.
Student loans, man. Exactly. Exactly.
I'm like, that's crazy. Now I don't know that. At first, I used to preach the same thing. And then they say, oh, well, if you keep going to school, you don't have to pay, which is true. But the money is just going to keep piling up.
Correct.
Oh, well, I have time to find free money because it's there. And it takes time, but find free money. Understand that every class you take, if you don't pass that class, you got to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole bill. That's a whole $4,000 or more that you have to pay for a semester because you slacked off or you ain't thinking about this is I'm going to school for free because you're not dishing out no money. Sure. But later on, you're to pay that $50,000, $60,000, $70,000
plus interest. So it's really more than that.
So it's really more than that.
Yep.
It would have been asking more questions, honestly, been more tethered to my financial advisors in college and really been saying, hey, how can I do this? Like, I need to do work study. I need to do this. I need to do that. I really wish I would have been paying more attention instead of having this mentality, because that's what I'm told that, oh, don't worry about that. I'm thinking I'm getting Pell Grant. I'm getting FAFSA. Oh, like, who paying for this? Paying for it. You're paying for it. Now, I'm like, well, I decided to go to college, decided to live on campus. Then when you get called to financial aid office, they say you can't store it on time because you ain't got enough money. You're like, what? You just signing away your life.
Yeah.
Hey, so I don't know, like we still are working through our audiences and stuff. Like, if you have people that are younger than you, they're going to college, they are, doing whatever they decide to do, trade school, whatever, it all costs money. And they all got to get some type of loan. Like she said, a loan is not bad. because you can make it work for you. Just like you can make it work for you. But if it was a conversation while they got us sitting in their classroom filling applications, they should have been trying to figure out a way like how y'all gonna pay this back. What are the steps that you need to take in order to stay on top of your student payment, your student loan payment? Because just because I'm in college, I could have been paying on it. If somebody would have prepared me to do that. There was work study and stuff, but come on now, my work study ain't enough money it don't really do nothing. You know, but somebody would have said like, hey, you got a job, like $50 here, 60, like whatever. Could have been doing that to dwindle it down instead of now being hit with a lump sum, praying that Biden just rip it all away.
Girl, look. And so I was really, I'm gonna be real. I don't ever remember having a conversation about FAFSA. Like there was no conversation. I knew that, okay, when you go to college, there's scholarships, there's grants, and there's FAFSA. And FAFSA was never really ever explained to me as far as what is FAFSA, being alone and whatnot. I never even knew that. And I'll be real, I was that blessed person where my whole entire 4-year degree for my bachelor's degree was free. Like it was all paid for through FAFSA. So I didn't know anything about like a student loan. But then my self decided to go get a master's degree. And I'm not against it, right? Like I'm not against degrees. I'm not against schooling, but maybe that's just another conversation because that's gonna go
That's a whole nother.
But yeah, that's gonna go deep. But look, I got my master's degree, and so that's where my student loan came from. And so it's very recent. It was, I got my degree in 2021, 2020. When was the pandemic? When was the panorama? I've lost my mind. I don't know. Girl, it's still running. I don't know. We still in the panorama. I don't know. That's not. Yeah, we in phase 5. I don't know. But yeah, like I got my degree in 2020, I think was when the pandemic was. And so it's recent, but same thing. I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? And like, I did know that like, it was like, oh, there's no interest until this date. So you can start paying early. So I did. I started paying on mine earlier, but same thing. It's like, okay, but then like now we're going to look at loan forgiveness and this and that. And so now all these loans are kind of just sitting here because yeah, like you said, like we're praying that somebody wipe them out and get rid of them because y'all told us to go to school. Y'all told us to get a degree. Y'all told us that was the way to get our financial freedom and our financial future. Like y'all sold us the dream. And now that we out here trying to live the dream and ain't none of the dreams working out for none of us because of course you couldn't predict the future. Yeah. You couldn't predict the pandemic or anything else. But low key, we've always known that it's not what you know until you know. So you played us. But now I have a loan that I have to think about. And it's like, it's true. It's just another bill. But again, like that's like your credit, like the more stuff that you stack against you, like that's credit utilization. Like that's all of that. There's all these steps that like people don't really know or don't pay attention to. And again, like you think that you're just out here getting money or using money. And I know a lot of people love financial aid because when you didn't have to use it all for your schooling or your books, that extra was yours, right? So you loved financial aid because you had extra money.
It's not extra money.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're supposed to take that money and pay all your rent up for 4 months. You're supposed to take that money and put it back.
Look.
That's what I did wrong. Thought out.
Look.
Balling.
It just is. It's just annoying. I just think about it and I'd be like, it's just annoying.
Did you have a literacy class in like college, high school, or grade school?
Never. So what I will say though is getting directly out of high school, I had a friend who ended up being involved with Transamerica. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Transamerica. A lot of people are. It's, the big building in San Francisco. So it's a lot of movies, whatever. Transamerica, right? And so at that time, her and her boyfriend, they were working and they had joined the business and they were trying to get me to join, right? Like, we're fresh out of like high school. We have like our first job. Well, I didn't work in school. So I know some people started working in school. I didn't work until I graduated high school. So I got my first job and we were all working together and whatnot. And so they were trying to get me involved. So they were talking about it and trying to like tell me what it was and all of that. And so I went to a couple of like the meetings, right? To like see and talk to people. And so that's where like my eyes first started to be open. Like I knew that I had different things. Like I knew I had life insurance policies. Like I knew that like, like I had like a CD or all these different things that were done for me. Cause like my family at least had that stuff set up. But them going to those meetings really opened my eyes to the fact that like we will not have social security. When we're the baby boomers age, we will not have social security. That joint will be gone. It opened my eyes to like that really these bank accounts are not where you should have your money. CDs weren't going to do anything for us. Like it just gave me really like the beginning knowledge. And of course, like at that point, like I was like more irritated because it felt like somebody was trying to like sell me something or it felt like they were trying to like, rope me into something. So it was annoying. But even though I was annoyed, I still had the wherewithal to pay attention, and be like, okay, but let's see what they're talking about. So that really was like the beginning of me understanding some things and having some financial, like, literacy basics. And then that's what helped me like what was that? So 2012. So then when my dad passed away in 2016, 4 years later, like, and I came into like a lump sum of money, I knew like just because I sat in things that I was annoyed by, but still paid attention to, I knew, okay, bank account ain't it. I won't have social security. CD's not it. This has to go somewhere. I was like, let me call my friend. Called my friend instantly and was like, hey, I know that you're doing this. Like, I just came into this money. Can I sit down with you and like whoever your mentor is or whatever? I really need to figure out what's my best options. And boom, that's how I ended up with my IUL. And so it's a matter of if you sometimes would have put aside like your annoyance or your pride or your ego, or even just shut off your ears to all of like the old habits and like the people in your ear, like families and friends and whatnot, who have their own ideologies and ideas around money and all their routines and whatnot. If you would shut that down and kind of just listen to someone who literally is just like, hey, let me like present you with an opportunity, or would you just take this to see like what tools you could pick up and what could really change your life, that like do it, take the opportunities, but like it's not hurting you. It's literally for your good, because you never know. Like I didn't know that in 2012 when I was annoyed, 4 years later, I would need to call those exact people to make sure that I was set up for life. Like I didn't know that. And so you never know. So just get advice. So yeah.
Remember in high school, I had a financial teacher and she was a cool lady. I went to a charter school and my school was rough. It was rough. And a lot of the teachers there, I knew they didn't want to be there. And she had this persona all the time. Like you could just tell she was very uneducated. She was just unenthused about everything. So her curriculum was so dry. Like she just had a very dry way of delivering. But I do remember her like going over a checkbook, like learning how to write a check, and all those things, which were very helpful because I knew kind of, but like it's better to kind of to touch on it than just to completely know it all. And I just knew at the time, like I knew it was important. I've always had big dreams. I've always been super ambitious. So I knew that like, even though everybody else around me probably wasn't thinking about it that way, I was thinking about it kind of like, well, dang, like, yeah, in the future, I'm going to be this, I'm going to have this, I want to be in that. And the other people around me being in the environment that we were in, a lot of people don't want to listen or pick up because they come from nothing. They don't have anything. They see their peers struggling and they see other people getting it however they can, regardless if it's stealing, if it's, hustling and out here, whatever, however you can get it, that's how you're getting it. So no one was really picking up on that. But I do remember them trying to have certain things in place to teach us those things. Then it wasn't until college where I had a financial planning class. And I'm not going to be real, y'all. Like I did not excel in math. Okay. And that also has a lot to do with wanting to talk about money, numbers. Like if you start early talking about numbers, it'll make your easier. But because I was so afraid of math and numbers that it was a challenge for me. So my last class as a senior, it was a financial planning course, and I'll never get it with Dr. Ivy. Shout out to Dr. Ivy from Mizzou. She really got us together. Like it was the first time that I learned that you can calculate your life insurance. You can do your own. You can think about your finances. You don't need you can use an advisor, and it's probably smart to use an advisor. But if you know certain tools to calculate it, you can do it yourself. You can plan your future yourself. or at least understand why you're doing these things and where these numbers are coming from. So that was the first time I practiced with doing taxes. And like the test, y'all, the test was like questions, but it was plan out your life insurance for this many years to say, like, this is how much money you're going to have in 50 years. Plan, like, here is your taxes. Do these taxes. Do taxes for a family before and do taxes for just a married couple. Like, we actually had to do those things. And even though, like, it's been a long time since I took Dr. Ivy's class, but the B plus in that class, y'all. And I had no idea, but I studied my tail off. And she was a Black lady who was very persistent in telling all of her students, y'all need to know this, especially her Black students. She was like, look, I don't know what y'all learned before. I wrote this book and it's going to help you. So that was the first time that it just kind of opened my, like, I don't have to be afraid. I see a person that looks exactly like me, a Black woman. She's in her 50s. I'm going to be 50 someday, and she's talking about money. She's talking about finances and I don't have to be afraid of it. So just that being said, like, find you somebody that you can talk about money to. Get together with your people. They exchange numbers and say what y'all make. But like, let's say we know we get paid every 2 weeks. Okay, boom, how much money? Like, okay, let me look at my finances. Did you check how much money you made this month compared to how much you spent this month? Did you write on a budget? Did you save the goal that you had that you wanted to save? Have those conversations. Don't be afraid. We don't necessarily have to tell people how much money we make and what we do and this and this. But having the foundation to get it started and to make sure we're all winning together, y'all want to buy back the block? Are we going? So I do. I have a couple buildings I want to buy in my city. Couple things I want to open up in my city for my people. But how I'm going to do it if I don't check on my finances? You want to buy cars and you want to roll and be fly, but how you going to do that if you're not looking? Like, you better go buy that Nissan.
I'm so dead.
Why are you going to BMW? Can you afford it?
And pay attention. Like, because I think that's like the biggest takeaway from what Kay said too. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the opportunity and it's there, pay attention. Like, even from my story, like, yeah, I may have been annoyed, but pay attention. I mean, again, like, we didn't really talk finances, but you telling your story made me think too. Like, I do remember in high school, I had an economics, I think it was economics class. I had an economics class. It was my junior year. And literally, I only took it because it was like with the school's favorite Black teacher, Mr. Tucker. We love Mr. Tucker. And Mr. Tucker didn't play. And so you could either have him for 2 subjects. You had him for, I think it was geography or economics. And I made sure I had them both. I just switched up my years. 5th grade geography, 11th grade economics. So literally, I remember him sitting there and teaching us like the stock market. We had to choose certain stocks. He taught us the stock market. He's like, this is how you read it. This is how you understand it. And we literally charted that joint out for a whole entire year and had a stock portfolio going, fake, obviously. But like, we had a stock portfolio going to know whether we were making or losing money because he was saying about how he had invested in Mobil and Exxon and, all this stuff. And he like was making money and he's all like, this is important, children. You need to know. Yeah. And at the time, I did well at it. Like, I was good at it. I understood it and whatnot. But like, it was so fleeting because, and this is not to like talk trash about school, but literally sometimes I feel like, and it maybe just be the way you look at it too, or the way your brain processes things, but like school teaches you enough to pass the test and get out, but it doesn't really teach you enough to survive and really be out here in this world. And so,
be disciplined.
Yeah, correct. Listen to some. And I did it. I did economics well. I had a stock portfolio. I didn't pick all the best stocks, but some of my stocks were thriving. Some tanked, but I learned and I understood what it was. Girl, tell me if I understand my Robinhood account now. Girl. No. It didn't stick. It didn't stick at all. I didn't see the importance of it. So you got to pay attention and realize like some of this stuff, it may not be important in this season, but it's going to be important in the next one. So.
Yeah. You know what I love though? Like, it seemed like ever since the pandemic, more people, especially Black people, have been way more interested in investing. And a lot of people made some money, but also a lot of people lost money because fast money is not always good money. you don't know what to do with it. A lot of free tools to use a financial advisor, your bank, one be, I'm pretty sure we all be opening up bank accounts online. And we ain't never stepped into the bank. We ain't never talked to the advisor. We ain't never want to think about talking to the advisor. All of a sudden, it's 15 years later, you 35, 40 years old. Now you're talking about, I want to buy a house. What your credit look like? But you ain't talking to no, but you want to buy.
You not only that, you have an established relationship. Sometimes being in the bank establishes relationships. Yes. Again, it's not always what you know. Sometimes it's who you know. Like,
yeah,
that's face to face is really a thing nowadays. I know we're virtual and this and that, but like face to face is a thing. Like it can change your whole game. Like you have no idea. So yeah.
No, it's interesting because the more you start to talk about money, the more opportunities you get to make money and also get free money. People that love money and they know money, they know how to get money. They know how to get it easy. They know how to get it quick. And even though I said fast money ain't good money, but when I'm saying quick, it means they know how to invest to turn over.
Ooh, and one thing that no. But like you saying that made me think too. One thing that I really realized, and like, it may not be fully like put heavy weight on it, but one thing that I have really started to see and realize just through like mentorship and like seeing, like you said, like the wave and the uptick of like Black people making money and just people who are investing and whatnot, the people who are genuinely making money and getting it, they are beyond willing to share. They are beyond willing to talk about it. They are beyond willing to make sure they pick you up by your bootstraps and like, I mean, granted, they're going to really like see, this is the thing too. You got to be ready for that because people can really see you when they're really about their business. They can really see you if you're about your business or not. So if you're really ready and they know that you're ready and you about to run for it, they will pick you up by your bootstraps and run with you. And they are more than willing to share. The ones who are trying to like covet it all and be secret and hush hush. And like the minute you ask a question about some money or like trying to get ahead, they kind of like shut down or like brush you off. They probably ain't really making no money because obviously it's scared money and they think that it's not enough for everybody out here. So that's one like key thing if somebody's really making some money or not. If they willing to give that away and let you know what it really is, no fluff, all bars.
Hey y'all,
I'm Kay.
I'm Amanda.
And we're your hosts of We Got Ish to Say
and Everyday Vibe
podcast. We just wanted to drop in and say, don't forget to join our community.
And Everyday Vibe.
In this community, you have access to so much more.
Do it.
Do it now.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now.
Hey, drop that fire, Amanda. For real. Because, like she said, the people that's giving the right advice, that's giving the advice, they not sheltering it. We just want that. We just want to win. I know I don't want to win financially.
Big fact. I just want to see y'all at the top because that's where I'm going. Whether you go or not, that's where I'm going. But I want you up there. Like I got into this field of finance to make sure we all make it. Like I'm not trying to shut it down or like discriminate against anybody. It's something about like the Black and brown community simply because there's too many things against this one. Mm-hmm. I feel like we don't come together enough in general. I want us to really come together and make sure that we're all growing. Like me and Kay, we have a group of friends. We're always around each other and whatnot. And honestly, I think the more that like I've grown, the more the K's grown. And I mean, I'm not going to say that everybody in our group is on the same wave, but one, we all come together pretty frequently. So either way, we're riding off of each other's energy. But the more you do that, like if you're going up, a lot of times the people that are around you want to go up also. And so our friendship in our group of friends, like I've noticed from the time that I met some of them to where we're at now, our conversations have changed. Like it went from like, when are the game nights and the parties and the this and the that to like, when are we having our next strategy session? Like, who got an ebook dropping? Like, we are really out here making moves. Like, we're like, because we all ready to come up. Like, okay, there's a program where we can figure out how to do X, Y, and Z. You want to split the cost and we go in for a month and like see what we can make happen. If you don't understand something, maybe if I don't get it, maybe you do. You don't get it. Let's go. Like, y'all love, what's her name? Glorilla? What's her name? What's that? Glow, yeah. Y'all love talking about stuff. Let's Can y'all go to the top with your money? Like, let's go with the money. Like, I'm just saying.
Black and brown people make money other ways. There's really no way to report the way we're bringing in money. You know what I'm saying? So it's just very unfortunate that we have this thought process because of the way we were treated in the past and the ways they want us to believe that's what we are. That's kind of the mentality we bring to finances and money. Also, before we go today, another thing about talking about money, for more money on these jobs.
She'll let you know real quick.
You going to companies and you getting hired for more pay, after better pay. You know, get that ready, get that ready. If there's an opportunity for you and you just feel like the money ain't money in, it ain't enough for more. And have it ready, have it set up. You know, there's a lot of resources out there too that can help you for more money. How do you ask for more money when you have an interview or you're getting a new job? Because I'm pretty sure if you got that interview, you are qualified. And if they want you, they're going to give you $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Ask for it.
Closed mouth don't get fed. You better ask.
Better ask for what you want.
Yeah, no, that's just major fact. So don't let your past limit you, y'all.
Ooh.
Moral of the story: don't let your past limit you. It's time. You know, we are in the wave of just money, and we are in the wave of a lot of our baby boomers too are retiring. You know, like we are the next wave. We are the next generation that is going to make a difference and be the money makers and the growers and all of that.
Yeah.
And so it's time to do something with that. It's time to use that and really like rise up, you know, like not like in a crazy way, but like, you know,
It's never too late. You might not did your best financially, you know, holding yourself accountable, but it's never too late. You can always start.
that.
You don't have to start when the next paycheck comes. You don't have to start when left comes. You can start tomorrow.
And just be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Build up the comfort to have conversations, like real conversations with people. You don't know what maybe they heard and learned that like you can debunk or you may actually need that can help you, like, and vice versa. So it's really having the conversation because yeah, each one teach one, you know, we all can level up and do better. But yeah, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And if you just hide under a rock and try to ignore it, the problem doesn't go away. It just gets bigger. Versus are everywhere. It really is a matter of asking, truly. Even some of these mentors and people that you guys probably follow on Instagram, I bet you if you slid into their DMs respectfully, somebody's willing to help you. Somebody's willing to offer you a master class or a one-on-one or whatnot and like really give you something to help you because that's what we want. We want everybody, you know, doing better and growing. And so the success is out there. You just got to go for it.
And no question is a dumb question.
Back.
It's only dumb if you don't ask it. Most of the time, another person next to you has that same question. So, question.
Be the one.
Get help.
Be bold.
You know, it's not dumb. Just because you're asking something and you feel like you're behind or you don't know, who is to judge you?
Right.
You know, so ask questions. We all can grow, like you said, financially and just be more literate in that subject. You know, and peace to y'all. Hey, get that money, get that bag, secure the bag. Period.
I just wanted to put these on because I just realized we both got on black and we was kind of matching. And I was like, I might go put on some sunglasses too.
We still have no black. Oh my God.
It's no shades, y'all, but get your money right. But
exactly. And again, just tap in with Amanda. You can find her at smile_for_Amanda. She does help with financial literacy
for free and no judgment. I don't care, y'all. I just want to help. I just want to help. I want y'all to do
love free
better. And not saying that you're doing bad because you might not be doing bad at all. You may have things in order, but you never know what you can tighten up.
You can find me at I am Sade Brand, and it's like the singer SADE Brand. I am wearing Everyday People frames, Rose Diamond, and Amanda is wearing her frames in black. You can find those at everydaypeopleworld.com. And you can also follow us at Everyday People World.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, it's Kay, owner of Everyday People Luxury Eyewear Company. I just wanted to remind you to shop that link below at everydaypeopleworld.com to get access to all of our latest styles. We have styles for men and women, and most of our styles are UV protected because we care about style and eye protection. We're one of the first Black woman-owned eyewear companies that cares about your style and also your eye care. Make sure you click that affiliates link if you get your friends to shop with me because I give you 10% of my proceeds. I want to give you a gift for supporting your local business owner. Again, that's everydaypeopleworld.com and the affiliates link is below.
And you guys, of course, as always, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. If there's anything in this episode that kind of touched bases or hit home for you, let us know that. If there's anything that you do have questions about, let us know that. Like, we got you. One of us will be there. We will be in the comments to answer. More than likely me, since I work in finance. If it's around finance, it's like, be there.
If you're watching this or listening to this and you are an advisor or a person that teaches about finances, we would love to get you connected with our viewers.
Yes.
To you. You never know what could be in store for all of us together.
Exactly. That is major facts. People want to hear things from different people. Some people need different energy.
Yeah.
Some people might like my style because I'm a little more like laid back and like I don't make it so tense and stressful. Some real rigid like strictness. Y'all might be a little more like professionalism and structure. Like granted, I'm professional. There's never going to be a lack of that. But you know, y'all see me on the podcast. But the information it's solid. I promise you. So yeah, don't forget to tap in.
Don't forget to follow us also on Instagram at We Got Ish to Say Pod. We Got Ish to Say Pod on Twitter with the number 2. And we are also on TikTok. We Got Ish to Say Pod. And we on trend. Girl. Don't follow us, y'all. We are some whole characters. Like, we be talking about certain stuff on here and we be sounding like serious and stuff. I mean, because some of it is kind of serious, but also we hope that we be entertaining y'all because we be over here cracking you up.
Big facts.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. We will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Man, you too cool.